What is going on, everybody? VGC here. With all the great strides the Resident Evil series have been making lately, which is quite a bit if you ask me, I think we should take a brief look at how we got here, and especially with such a vast history. And this is going to be a 3-part video series, and this one's going to be the fall of Resident Evil. Now let's begin with none other than Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, ORC for short. And a lot of fans will like to say that Resident Evil 6 was the true fall of Resident Evil, but I like to believe that Resident Evil 6 learned a lot of the mistakes ORC made, and I mean a lot. So that's why I believe that ORC is the true fall of Resident Evil. And just a little backstory, I bought into the hype of this game and even pre-ordered it. And let's just say there's a very good reason I don't pre-order games anymore, except for very special cases. Doom Eternal. First off, setting the stage, this game is set during the events of Raccoon City. Obviously, it says it in the game's title. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, which is one of the best time periods of Resident Evil's history, if you ask me. There's zombies, a lot of happening, a lot of stuff we don't know, so very open-ended, which gave the developers a lot of creative freedom, and if you ask me. And in this game in particular, it puts you in the role of a badass Umbrella commando unit. Great ideas and great potential, but has a severe and very severe lack of polish. You may be expecting something like this.
This is Chopper Delta, preparing to drop off at area E95070. Over. Where did they come from?
That?
Go! That way! Cut them off!
On it, Lupo.
Or maybe even a little bit of this.
What are you doing? I'm a cop!
But sadly, you would be wrong. And instead we got this barnyard explosion. The specific issues, for one, is the rampancy of glitches range from textures to one that happened to me at launch when chasing Leon when he is supposed to go into the next area. He doesn't. You can't kill him. And not to mention he's armed with the Desert Eagle Magnum, therefore he just slaughters you and your entire team, and there's not a single thing you can do about it. Luckily, I have not been able to reproduce or recreate the glitch since then, so it's not too bad, but still, the damage was already done, and this should not have been a day one issue. Not only are your melee attacks overpowered, but connecting them and their associated finishers is spotty and not refined at all. And for that crack commando unit I was talking about, they're a bunch of dummies most of the time, and very rarely will they heal you, and their accuracy is much worse than a stormtrooper. They like to hoard all their items, so I guess in that aspect the AI is spot on for online multiplayer. And in the last 2 levels, the difficulty ramps up from a 5 to a 12. The weapon accuracy overall is not that great. I'm not opposed to guns having kickback for that taste of realism, but in ORC it's just up so high you can barely hit anything most of the time. And the weapon accuracy overall is not that great. The final nail for the coffin in this, the ads for the game heavily promoted picking sides, choosing between the Umbrella security and the US government spec ops, but guess what? They're not even in the base game. That's right. The other half of the game is locked behind DLC. Now, if that's not a big middle finger for you, I don't know what is. Now, with all the bad this game does, is there any good this game does? Of course there is. You just have to dig a little deeper to find it. For the silver lining, this game has my personal favorite BOW. Nemesis. The boss fight with Nemesis is awesome, it's exhilarating, and you have to damage him enough to install the new parasite programmed in him, essentially reprogramming him. And you also have to contend with zombies and spec ops all at the same time, all in all in a great boss fight. And it does add a little window of opportunity when he's damaged to install the new parasite. So if you don't get to him quick enough, the whole thing resets. So I love the amount of intensity and urgency this boss fight adds. Now, the enemy variants are another great feature. You will encounter zombies, lickers, spec ops, hunters, and Mr. X tyrants. Great variants in enemy type. Speaking of the variants, your weapon variants are a fantastic lot to experiment with. The only good added gameplay feature is you're able to draw your weapon, aim, and fire your sidearm with the press of a button and the rotation of the analog stick. Because it's clearly they were going for the more action-packed Resident Evil title, and I feel like this feature works very well with it. And the fact that you're in a squad makes it a little more tolerable, knowing you're not alone. Of course, if you're doing single player with AI bots and you are completely alone, suffer for the entire duration of the game. My prayers go with you, young soldier. And the final redeeming factor is the inclusion of your classic Resident Evil characters, such as Ada Wong, Leon Kennedy, Claire Redfield, Hunk, and Nikolai, which Nikolai has always been one of my favorite behind-the-scenes characters, so I always really like seeing games with more of him in it. A little side note, I did like the multiple endings option, where right at the end of the game you get to choose to either kill Leon like Umbrella wants you to, even though they've been ratting you out and dumping on you the entire game, or you can protect Leon and kill your other two teammates, which whenever they have that at the end of a game, like they did at the end of the original Lego Star Wars, I always thought it was a great option and great idea. But overall, the game has great potential. Like, it could have been amazing. The main issue is there's just a huge lack of polish. If it just had a little more QA testing and a little more time to be worked on, it would have been amazing. And I'm usually not one to harp on the graphics, but the graphics aren't that great. There's something that are a little better than the PS2 generation, but not a whole lot. So if you ask me, it's just extremely poor polish and very bad execution. Duke Nukem Forever is a great example of a game that's been in development for too long. And ORC is when there's not enough development. So with that being said, it's not all that bad knowing going in. For the other 2 follow-up videos, stay tuned for the rise of Resident Evil. This is VGC. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and for more great content. Thank you for watching.